Millimeters per year doesn't do squat. Okay? So I spent most of the time in the scriptural problem, but what does the science say? And if I don't get far, what does the science say? Well, it says a lot, but again, I wanted to restrict myself to just what is it about science that would say precludes an old Earth? And I don't have time to go into radiometric dating, but there's a chapter in it here called blind dating. And but I would like to say something, a few words about just one thing about the Earth that a lot of people say, oh, it's got to be old, it's got to be old, and that's sedimentary rock and fossils. And if you just look a little deeper, sedimentary rock and fossils screams young Earth. Screams it. Just real quick. You take a dead roadkill possum, you see it on the road, toss it into a muddy creek, sinks to the bottom, into the murk, and it gets covered with a layer of silt. Does it become a fossil? No, not even close. It's going to be consumed with myriads of fungi, water mold, bacteria, a whole host of aquatic insects, worms, and it's gone in weeks or less. It's gone. Even whales. It's called whale fall. Dead whale goes to the bottom of the ocean. All the flesh is gone in a few years. Hagfish and a whole bunch of invertebrates take out all the soft tissue, and then within 50 years, all the bones are gone. Things don't become fossils. If you've got a uniformitarian rate of sedimentation of millimeters per year, millimeters per year doesn't do squat. Okay? Everything eats it. And the only way it becomes a fossil is if it gets buried rapidly and deeply. So when I see Grand Canyon and the whole thing is chock full of fossils from bottom to top, it's screaming that it was deposited rapidly. This got laid down rapidly because there's fossils in it. And then this got laid down rapidly because there's fossils in it. And this got laid down rapidly because there's fossils in it. Because if it was slow, there'd be no fossils from top to bottom. None. So where do they put the time? Well, they've sort of come to the conclusion that, yeah, if it's a fossil, it had to have been buried deeply and fast. So this happened fast, this happened fast, this happened fast. So where do you put the time? In between them? Wait a minute, if this happened fast and you have millions of years of nothing, so you got these fossils, millions of years of nothing before the next sedimentary deposition happens. What happens to this surface? It gets chewed up. This gets chewed up with erosion. It gets chewed up with wormholes. It gets chewed up with its plants, roots. It just gets totally chewed up. And then the next layer, that's millions of years of getting chewed up. And then the next layer. Guess what this layer is going to look like? I mean, that interface, it's going to be a mess. But the Grand Canyon is flat, flat, flat. No chewed up, so there's very little, that hiatus between where they stick the millions of years, the hiatuses are very little time. Because if it's a long time, it gets chewed up. So the whole thing just bespeaks of a young Earth, and that's just one aspect of sedimentary rock. The blind dating, radiometric dating is a mess, but many other chapters. Again, I don't cover everything. I can't, because it'd be about that thick. Be that thick. But I tried to hit the main things.